What's going on, guys? My name is Renegade. Today we're here for another episode of class comparisons. Today we're going to be taking a look at DAIMON class versus BINDER for farming. This was requested probably 15 or 16 times on my last video, the How Good Is DAIMON class video. There was one guy who said, don't do DAIMON versus BINDER, but I'm afraid you're outnumbered, sir. That was actually the guy who said, don't do DAIMON versus BINDER. His name is Paya Chang. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And he commented, DAIMON versus Chaos Slayer farming, please don't do another BINDER. And I'm sorry, sir, but there are just way too many BINDER requests to ignore this one. I might do a DAIMON versus another class in the future. But yeah, today we're going to be taking a look at DAIMON versus BINDER for farming. As always, leave any your other suggestions for other classes you want to see compared in the future in the comment section down below. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is a weekly series, so your requests will be used for next week's video, so think carefully about that one. Either way, I'll quickly go over what makes a farming class what it is, and like, you know, everything that makes, just what makes a farming class good at farming. So, in my opinion, this is my honest opinion here, my thoughts about farming classes is that they need to be able to kill monsters quickly. This could be using a AoE ability, it could be using an ability with short cooldowns with a lot of damage. Either way, you just need to be able to kill monsters quickly. Obviously attacking more than one monster at once is going to help this, so AoE abilities are generally what farming classes require. To help the efficiency, you also should probably have a heal or some way of keeping your health steady, or stable rather. And so obviously a heal is sometimes necessary, sometimes not. Those are basically the two main things that you'll require in a farming class, but the efficiency is the main thing. Anything that improves or takes away from the efficiency will be mentioned in this video. Let's get into the comparison. Alright, so we'll first talk about DAIMON class here. DAIMON class has 3 main attacking abilities. The other ability that's in the class is actually your heal. The 3 abilities, they all are AoE based, so that's going to really help that efficiency I was mentioning before. Brainwave, which is your first AoE ability, it attacks 3 enemies, and it deals moderate damage. I wouldn't say anything special. 400 non-crit, about 1.2k crit, nothing too special. It's not unreasonably low though. Like I mentioned in the tooltip there, it says deals moderate damage, and I'd say that's pretty accurate. It will apply one of 2 effects. It applies a small DOT for 12 seconds, or a larger DOT for 6 seconds. You can have both these applied to the same enemy, but you can't have them stacked, that they don't stack the damages. But it's quite effective, especially considering the low damage of this ability. You can just keep spamming the Brainwave. This ability is called Brainwave, by the way. Especially considering the low damage of Brainwave, the 6-second cooldown is really going to help you keep those DOTs applied, and those DOTs are really going to eat away at the enemies as you're fighting them. They, as I said, 12 seconds and 6 seconds for those DOTs, so it's quite effective, and using that ability alone, you can really take down enemies fairly quickly. Nothing too fast though, it's still not very fast at all, but it's fairly efficiently. Shattered Reality is your next AoE ability. I'll talk about the actual attacking abilities, and I'll talk about the heal. Shattered Reality is one of the other AoE abilities. This only attacks 2 enemies at once, and this is a 10-second cooldown. And the nice thing about this ability is it'll apply mental weakness, I believe, to both the enemies, although I only see it come up once on screen, like the little mental weakness effect thing. So I don't know if it's on both of them or whatever. Either way, mental weakness reduces their damage output by 40% for 5 seconds. That's quite effective there. It's really quite a nice little effect. Your last attacking ability is called Mind Blown, and this has a 25-second cooldown, but it's pretty much worth it because the damage is about 4k crit and about 1.5k non-crit, around that sort of area. And this is a 3-target ability. This also increases your haste and crit chance by 30% for 10 seconds as well. So this is a pretty useful ability, especially if you need to spam some abilities to get some mana back. Brainwave only consumes 14 mana, so getting some crits on that will really help you get some mana back. Your heal on this class is called Mass Effect, and what this does is it'll pretty much heal you for a certain amount. It'll heal you for about 750, and it'll heal everyone else for a smaller portion of that damage in the room. It'll heal 4 allies, so it's pretty much 5 people at once. The heal is twice as strong if another player is selected, although I haven't seen that in action yet. and it'll also apply one of 5 random effects. I call them effects, they call them buffs, I call them effects because there's one called Forever Alone that increases your mana cost by 10% and reduces your endurance by 10% for 10 seconds, so it's kind of a debuff. That's not really too much to worry about though, it's only really like 2 or 3 mana on every ability, so it's not really too much to worry about. Strength and Intellect boost is one of them though. We've got a strong heal over time for 15 seconds, a moderate heal over time for 15 seconds, and reduced damage taken and luck by 10% for 10 seconds. So reduces your luck, I believe, is what that's entailing, so that's kind of a debuff as well, I guess. Either way, Daimon's a really strong farming class. We'll now talk about Binder, and then we'll compare the two together. Alright, so Binder is that one farming class that we all know and love. I'll try and make this as brief as possible. Bandit has been widely known as the best farming class in the game, and it's for good reason. It has 3 main AoE abilities, all of them apply random effects, but they all actually apply DOTs. The biggest DOT being on the second ability, and the lowest DOT being on the last ability, I believe, although I'll quickly check that for you guys now. No, I'm completely wrong, it's actually the first ability that has the lowest DOT, although the first and last abilities have pretty comparable DOTs, whereas the second ability that I mentioned doesn't actually have a damaging, like, per se effect, but it has, like, at least double the strength of the DOTs. It's about 370, and the other ones are about 150. The heal is really effective. It actually chains, you can chain it, like, constantly, so it lasts the full duration of the time that you need to, like, wait for the cooldown on the ability to happen. So yeah, it's quite effective, and it's about 350 HOT, quite effective. Doesn't consume much mana, it's only about 30 mana, so nothing too extravagant in terms of mana consumption, especially considering that the first ability is a guaranteed crit, so that's a kind of an easy way of regaining mana back. Guaranteed crit, but the crit's only about 470. The second ability that I mentioned before, that is the DOT ability, that actually can occasionally stun, and they also have a reduced chance of hitting you, so little debuffs here and there to your enemies. Your last ability is also a very useful ability, but this has a 12-second cooldown. This crits about, sorry, it can't crit at all, but it does deal about 1.7k damage non-crit, so it's quite effective. The fire will also apply either a DOT intensifier or a damage debuff to your enemy, so again, little effects here and there that are quite effective. Overall, really, really good farming class, just constantly spewing out damage. Nothing can miss, nothing can crit or non-crit, you know what I mean? Like, first ability cannot non-crit, last ability cannot crit, the DOT ability is obviously cannot do either, and the heal ability can't miss either, so really quite a stable class. You never really you can always rely on it to do what exactly as it says. Yeah, no mana issues whatsoever. We'll now compare Daimon and Binder class together. Alright, so we're now coming to the section of the video where I talk about the two classes to compare. We'll start off with why Daimon is a better farming class. Daimon is a better farming class, in my opinion, because its heal is arguably stronger. See, what I mean by that is Binder is sort of like a one-man apocalypse, and that's a quote from Overwatch. But no, seriously, this class, Binder can sit there by itself, farming away, and doesn't really need the help of anyone else. Now, Daimon is the same situation, but Daimon can actually assist other people, so it's a support class in some manner as well. As they said in the design notes, it's a cross between Oracle, Evolved Shaman, and Mindbreaker. So it does have that sort of aspect in there with the Oracle heal thingamajig. Very similar heal to Oracle. Now, Daimon also has those little effects, and I also think that the effects on Daimon, the debuffs and the buffs and stuff that it applies are quite a bit stronger as well. The haste and crit chance by 30% thingamajig on the last ability is quite effective, and it really is quite useful. The mental weakness, reducing the damage output by 40% on enemies for 5 seconds, it's really quite effective as well. Along with, of course, all the little random effects that could be applied with the heal ability. That's also cool as well. It's like a little nice thing to have there, I suppose. But it really does come down to the fact that Binder is, of course, a really, really, really strong farming class. It's a tough decision to make, but just because the damage output on Binder is so consistent, it's really quite a difficult decision to make, but this is probably the closest any class has come to beating Binder. This is probably I'd probably give this one like a tie if you were to compare it to Shaman, which I might do in the future, like properly. But just off the top of my head, I might even say this is like tied with Shaman. Maybe perhaps even better. Like, it's quite a good farming class. The abilities have quite good cooldowns. If you apply the Mind Blown and then you just start spamming the first ability, you really are outputting quite a bit of damage, and with that Shattered Reality, when that crits, it does do quite a bit of damage. But it comes down to the fact that Blaze Binder is such a reliable class with nothing missing, critting when you want it to, non-critting when you want it to, everything like that. It's really quite a reliable class, and so I still don't think this is dethroned Blaze Binder, but it's gotten close, guys, and this really is a good class to have if you need a farming class and you haven't farmed anything to obviously use as a farming class yet. Then if you're a member, then you go to /join Bacon Cat and you can purchase Daemon class for 200k gold off of Siri sitting there in the first room. Quite an effective class, honestly, for farming. Really good, quite good. But I'm still gonna have to give this one to Blaze Binder. If you disagree with me, leave your comment in the comment section down below. Leave what you think about this. Anything I might have missed, anything I didn't go over. If you agree with me, if you disagree, either way, leave that comment down there in the comment section down below. Interested to hear your guys' opinions on this. Other than that, guys, while you're down there, leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe to my channel to be notified when any of my other videos are uploaded. I will have a not a Bacon Cat. What is the new event called? The Death Arena event playthrough that'll be out fairly soon. I haven't actually done it yet, but I'll be doing that at some point very soon. I'll have that out soon, along with next week's episodes of AQW news, how good it is, and of course class comparisons. So stay tuned for all that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.